been a little more than 30 years since the major motion picture Interview with the Vampire was shot here in Southeast Louisiana. Now, it brought major movie stars like Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt to the city and local plantations for months of filming.
Anne Rice's novel gave rise to vampire fan clubs all over the world, and it was right here in New Orleans, her hometown, where her fans recently gathered to pay respects in a grand memorial celebration. Meg Ferris was there and has this exclusive special report.
It was a dark and scary time in our history. The COVID pandemic kept loved ones apart, including Christopher Rice and his internationally famous mother, novelist Anne Rice.
The world had just started to open back up again a little bit, and we saw her for the first time. We had Thanksgiving, and then the next day she went into the hospital. It became clear she had had a stroke, and then she was actually reaching a point in the hospital where we thought she was improving. And the next day, about 24 hours later, she left us.
That was 2021, so there could be no proper celebration of life for the grieving fans around the world for their beloved author. No second line in New Orleans, in her beloved city. So for the next 4 years, Christopher and his co-producer and family best friend, Eric Shaw Quinn, got to work.
We knew we were going to have to do a massive celebration of some sort, and it had to be here. And for every year it took us to plan it, we knew it had to be that much better.
Filmmakers put together an anthology of shorter documentaries about her 80-year life, her legacy, and interviewed people from all over the country.
This is the story of Anne.
They blended it with live theater, local musicians like Irma Thomas.
Do you know what it means to miss New Orleans?
All grounded in New Orleans culture. Her fans have been waiting 4 years for this celebration of life, this memorial, and now 1,400 people have traveled from all over the world to see it here at the Orpheum. Fans lined up on All Saints' Day dressed as her characters from Interview with the Vampire. They came thousands of miles not only to celebrate and grieve, but to say thank you.
I think the message that she wanted to share with the world was embrace who you are. That even if you have always felt like an outsider, like you don't belong, that you deserve a life of beauty and meaning.
And that message resonated across generations, across oceans.
We're all trying to find our place here. We're all strange and odd and beautiful in some way. And so I feel like I fit in this group of people.
I always kind of felt sort of out of place, a bit odd and different in my life. And that movie was just showing us that, like, people that are strange can be celebrated, and it's a beautiful thing to be different.
It speaks a lot on if you are an outcast, or if you are somebody who you just don't feel like you fit in. Just being yourself and doing what you do, you'll find the people that you fit in with. And that got me through a lot of hard times.
Fans like this one even legally changed his name to Lestat de Liancourt, the main character from the Vampire Chronicles novel series.
I think it's safe to say that Anne Rice's works touched all of us in some small way or in some big way. Her stories are more than just stories. She gave us a place that always existed, but we just didn't know it did.
As for the co-producer, well, he would not have quit his unfulfilling job and moved across the country without the book's message.
I started reading Interview with the Vampire, and she reached out across time and space and said to me, "You are absolutely perfect exactly the way you are. You don't owe anybody an apology. You don't ever need to change anything about you. You are exactly who you are supposed to be, and that's what you should pursue in life."
The All Saints' Day celebration of life took fans through 8 decades of her life, including the life-changing event, the loss of a young life to leukemia, that in many ways defined Anne and her husband Stan.
The death of Michelle is the most formative event in Anne's life, creatively, psychologically, emotionally. The achievement of Anne Rice is that she took the worst thing that ever happened to her and turned it into the best thing that ever happened to her. Once you go through something like losing a daughter, you don't go back to the light from the darkness. You find the light that exists within the darkness. And that was really her mission.
Christopher never knew his big sister. He came into the world after she left, but he lived in the world he watched change by his mother's creative outpouring of emotions on the written page.
I remember going to the hotel, which was the Ritz in Manhattan, and I remember discovering that our room was the penthouse suite. And the book had just made #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. And the publisher's party for her, I remember them opening the doors to this loft, and it was just hundreds of people.
And keep in mind, that was after her vampires were ghosted by the newspaper.
An Interview with the Vampire, the novel, was a flop when it was first published. It was trashed by the New York Times. People didn't take it as seriously as she had wanted them to. They said, "Who are you to expect us to take a serious story about vampires of all things?"
Well, over time, big-time Hollywood producers and actors did take Anne Rice seriously, and those immortal images and words she brought to life gave new life to a whole community worldwide. Meg Farris, WWL, Louisiana.
When tears are in your eyes, I will dry them
It really is brilliant. Find the light in the darkness.
Yes.
In times like that. Well, the producers of the Anne Rice celebration have put the complete event, including the documentaries, online, and it is free to watch.
And they also have a podcast called The Dinner Party Show with celebrity interviews. We have all the links with this story on our website, WWLTV.com.